Hello guys, welcome to the 2016 SQL Server installation. I've already downloaded the release candidate 0. You can see it. I'm installing on Windows Server 2016 TP4. I'm extracting now. I've already extracted the same. You can see it. It will take some while. I'll run it. Run as administrator. Wait for a while. The new 2016 SQL Server has so much improvements compared to the 2014 version. It has got the integration with the poly-based databases, the introduction of traditional R languages. You can see the release candidate 0 here. Wait for some time for it to be loaded. Depends on entirely the disk space. Here you can see the first page is almost the same, the features are same. It's a 2016 release candidate, not RTM. Here there is a big difference from this version onwards. The management studio installation is separate. You can see it's a separate management studio installation, so you can install the SQL Server, then afterwards you have to install the management studio and the data tools separately. So I'll go with the normal installation first. Just click the normal installation, new SQL Server instance installation. So talking about the new features, the R language integration is one of the best features, I could say. So I'm selecting the Express. You can select either evaluation or developer. Okay, I'll go with the evaluation for the time being. Then I accept the terms. Click next. There are some rules. You should restart your computer. I've already done that. If you want to check for your update, you can check. I'm just going to skip that for the time being. It's loading the set of files. Wait for a moment. Okay, it has already passed the checkings. Pre-requests has been passed, so you can see it like framework application security. Okay, then I'll go for the next page. Here you can either select the server with the feature installation or all features with defaults. I'll go with the SQL Server with feature installation, so you can like a custom installation. So here you can see all the features, but the main difference is you cannot see the management studio tools and management studio complete. It's missing compared to all the rest of the version. It's missing from this version, so I'll select all for the time being. You can see the new integrations like polybase services, more reporting services, distributed display controller, which was introduced in 2014. Okay, I'll click next. You can choose the location if you want. I'm going with the default location like C drive. If you have a better drive, you can go with the D. Okay, since I'm going to install the polybase, there are some prerequisites. You can see it as always on this version also. The .NET Framework 3.5 is a prerequisite, so I have to enable it. Since I'm using polybase, I have to install the Java runtime, Java 7 update, 51 minimum. I think it's now 873. So if you are in the server, Windows Server, this is Windows Server 2016, go to the server manager, let it open up. I think you know this, or you can ask your sysadmins to do this for you if you don't have permissions. If you have permission, you can do it yourself. That's the best one. Click manage, wait for it to load. Takes a while because I'm running it on a virtual machine. Yeah, the physical machine will be much more faster, I guess. Okay, we'll wait it out. So if you have a separate drive, you can select a separate drive for the installation. Okay, it loaded up, so just click next. I'll go with role based feature installation next. select the virtual hard disk. If you have multiple virtual hard disk, select the one with the SQL server. Okay, you can see so many services, and I'm not going to explain. Select the first one, which is .NET Framework 3.5, which we need. Click next. If you want to specify an alternate source, like some other location or a ISO image, you can specify it and just click install. It will take some time to complete. On the meanwhile, I'll install the Java runtime also. Just a minute, I'll load up. Okay, let it complete. It may take some time. So the best feature is going to be the tempdb configuration, which is entirely new compared to the previous setups. I'm going to explain it in a while, so let it complete. I'll explain it. So if you have a multiple disk, it is better to choose the uh, if you can afford, if your company can afford an SSD, it is better. Okay, I'll install the Java runtime now. Okay, just open up any browser and type Java in the Google search engine. So you can see the first link itself points to the runtime. Make sure you're installing the correct runtime. If it's 64-bit, go with the 64-bit. So if you're using a 64-bit browser, it will automatically point to you. Otherwise, go to all downloads and select the Windows Server 2000. Java 64-bit version. Wait for it to complete. I'll do a parallel installation. Just double click. This is nothing much. The runtime is easy. It's not an SDK. Okay, I'll just run it. The framework installation is still going on. May take a while. So if you got an SSD, it's better to shift the default folders like tempdb to the SSD. It's all because it's so IO intensive, and it will definitely help it out. Let's click next. Install. So I'm installing both together. I'll wait for it. This is mainly for the poly based Java, otherwise it's not needed. If you're not selecting, if you're not going to use for the poly based database, leave it out. There's no request for the Java, but .NET framework is a must. Okay, Java is completed. I'll close it. Okay, I'll rerun the request, which of course I'm passed, so I'll click next. Okay, in the instance naming, I'll go with the default instance. You can give the named instance if you want, SQL2016 something. Okay, default instance I select. Okay, now click next. Next is the polybase configuration. This is pretty much new. So if you need to ask the assistance of the system admin or the network admin for the ports. So better to go with the default ports which are selected by the SQL Server setup. Otherwise, you can select the custom port, but you have to have the help. Okay, this one there are so many services. I'm not going to change any. The best practice is to use the same account for all the services which have the privileges over the network, and all the privileges you have to talk with the sysadmin or network admin. The new feature compared to the other version is the IFI, means instant file initialization. Here you can select it out, so it will automatically grant the user, SQL Server instance, the ability to perform Molly maintenance tasks, which will incredibly increase the amount of performance for the file initialization. Like instead of writing zeros, it's just initialize, take up that space. Okay, I'm adding the users now. I'll add maybe admin user, you can add. If you have a separate account for the SQL Server, it is better to add as an admin. If you have need a say login, service account login, you can definitely give. I go with Windows authentication for the time being because I don't have a domain. If you want, you can go. That's it. So the password should be a little bit complex. So okay, I'll go with the service account login and give a complex password as per the Windows rules. Okay, these are the data directories. If you want to change, better to change to an SSD drive if you can afford it. Otherwise, leave it default. Here is the tempdb configuration. You can see the number of tempdb files. You can set it initially. This is not in any of the version previously. You can set the sizes as an initial step. So if you restart the SQL Server instance, it will go to the default size always. So if you increase, it will multiply increase the file size. You can choose the location. Better to have it in SSD if you can afford. Always better. So this one is going to be a hit because this is one of the main performance benefits for SQL Server 2016 is going to offer the TempDB configuration. Click next. For the analysis service, if you want to add which type of tool you're going to use, Power Pivot, multidimensional, or if you have a separate third party, you better to go with that. Okay, I'll add the current user for the time being. If I think Power Pivot will be much more efficient with the third party. If you want to use the separate account also, like an SQL admin user will be there. If you, it's up to your organization or in the people who are deciding it. Most probably it's a admin. Okay, I'll click next, install and configure distributed controller player. I'll just add the user. I'm not going to use for the time being. I'll explain it. This is the controller name. If you want to access the controller via the name, okay, I'll put SQLD and click next. So here are my entire review before installation. Just go through it. If you want, click install. So here we go, we have started the installation. So the performance wise, uh, leaving out the new features like R integration, stretch database to the Azure, or the polybase databases, uh, the tempdb configuration and the instant file initialization option is a big plus compared to all the other version, because I've personally faced many times you cannot ask your sysadmin to provide that right for your SQL Server service account, which it's very hard for him to allow, and it's so many meetings for him to allow it. So if you have it, if you have a big database, it's initializing so much data. I mean, it doesn't value for the LDF or the log file. It's only valid for the data file. So if you have IFI enabled, that instance will be much more performance wise higher than a normal instance. Also the tempdb file configuration, it is always good to have multiple tempdb files. According to the best practice, it's better to have a tempdb file according to your processor core. It's up to you, you can decide it. Just go through the best practices and set accordingly, but that feature is very much useful for the performance tuning if you are into it. So now we have finished with the SQL Server installation. I've skipped some part, it takes around 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, still I don't have the management studio installed. If you are a command prompt guy, you can use it, but I'm more like a graphical user interface lover. So I am going to install the management studio. You can here you can see there's no management studio anywhere, so I have to reinstall it, I mean as a separate application. So I'll go select the second option, install management studio, here, right here. it's coming up. Talking about the SQL Server Management Studio, from this version onwards, Microsoft is going to provide you separate updates uh, up to the 2014 versions. Just click install. This is the Management Studio. Okay, that will complete. Up to 2014, SQL Server Management Studio update came together with the cumulative update service packs, which were produced rather 2 months was the interval between one cumulative update and another one. But from this version onwards, it's completed. Microsoft will provide every month update for the Management Studio, which is separate. You can install as a like a small application, and the cumulative update, I guess it's going to be like the old method, like 2 months, every 2 months they will provide. So since I restarted spending, I am not able to access it with the run prompt. Okay, I'll take the all programs Management Studio. You can see it now. So here you go, the SQL Server 2016. uh, I'm having a release candidate for the time being, but the RTM will not be any different. So you can see it, the version SQL Server 2016.